Have you ever just stopped and wondered, with over 1 billion people, how does a country like India even function? Well, believe it or not, it's not just organized chaos. There's a plan, a real blueprint. And today, we're going to pop the hood, take a look inside, and see how this whole incredible machine is put together. Okay, let's jump straight into the big one. The question I bet you've asked yourself before. You've got the president and you've got the prime minister. So who's actually calling the shots? Who holds the real power? Answering that one question, well, that's the key to unlocking how India's entire system works. And to figure that out, we've got to go back to the source. We need to look at the governing blueprint itself, the Constitution. Think of it as the ultimate instruction manual for the whole country. It's all in there, and that's where we'll find our answers. So this whole structure, it's built on 3 massive pillars, kind of like a giant sturdy stool. You've got the executive. They're the ones who actually run the government day to day. Then there's the legislature. Their job is to make the laws. And the third pillar, the judiciary. They're the referees, the ones who interpret the laws. And the whole point of this design? To make sure no single pillar gets too tall and tips the whole thing over. All right, let's dive into that first pillar, the executive. This is where we find our 2 key players, the president and the prime minister. And yeah, this is where that big question about who's really in charge gets interesting. Okay, so here's the absolute core of it. India technically has 2 heads. The president is what we call the de jure head. That's just a fancy way of saying by law. Think of them as the head of state, the ceremonial face of the nation. But then you have the prime minister, who's the de facto head, meaning in fact or in reality. They're the one with the actual day-to-day power. They're the head of government. And look, this isn't just some unspoken agreement. It's spelled out right there in the Constitution. Article 74 makes it crystal clear. It says the president shall act on the advice of the prime minister and their team. And that one little word, shall, it's everything. It's not may, it's not should, it's shall. That makes the advice legally binding. It basically seals the deal on who's in the driver's seat. Now, that doesn't mean the president is just a rubber stamp. Not at all. They have some incredibly important jobs. They're the one who formally appoints the prime minister. They give that final, crucial signature that turns a bill into a law. And they hold the incredible power to grant pardons. So their role is vital, for sure, but it always works within that system of taking advice. Okay, let's hop over to our second pillar now, the legislature, the lawmakers. In India, of course, we're talking about the parliament. And their job sounds simple, right? Make the laws. But think about it. They're creating the rules that govern over 1 billion people. It's a massive, massive responsibility. So parliament is bicameral. That's just the political science word for it has 2 parts, or 2 houses. You've got the Lok Sabha, which is the House of the People. These are the folks you directly vote for every 5 years. Then there's the Rajya Sabha, the Council of States. Its members are elected indirectly, and they serve for 6 years. And did you notice that age difference? You only need to be 25 for the Lok Sabha, but 30 for the Rajya Sabha. The idea is that the Rajya Sabha is a sort of house of elders, a more experienced and thoughtful chamber. So how does a law actually get made? Well, for a regular run-of-the-mill bill, the process is pretty clear. Step 1, it gets introduced in either the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Step 2, it has to get a simple majority yes vote in both houses. And once it's passed both, step 3, it goes to the president's desk for that final, all-important signature. But, and this is a huge but, when it comes to money, the game changes completely. For something called a money bill, anything about taxes, spending, the budget, the rules are totally different. First off, it can only start in the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha can have a look, maybe make some suggestions, but they can't say no. They can't reject it. The most they can do is hold it up for 14 days. This is huge. It basically means the power of the purse belongs to the house that the people elected directly. And that brings us to the third and final pillar, the judiciary. If the legislature makes the rules and the executive plays the game, the judiciary is the referee. They are the ultimate guardians of the Constitution, making sure everyone, and I mean everyone, is playing by the book. Sitting right at the very top, the peak of this pillar, is the Supreme Court of India. What they say goes. Their word is final. And their number 1 job, their most critical mission, is to protect the fundamental rights of every single citizen and to be the final authority on what the Constitution actually means. And if you want a taste of just how much power we're talking about, check this out. There's a part of the Constitution, Article 142, that gives the Supreme Court the power to do whatever is necessary for doing complete justice. Just let that sink in. Complete justice. It's this incredible, extraordinary power that allows the court to go beyond the written law if that's what it takes to ensure a fair and just result. It's wow. Okay, here's a really interesting little detail that a lot of people miss. Both the Supreme Court and the high courts in the states can issue these special orders called writs to protect people's rights. But, and get this, the high courts actually have a wider power here. The Supreme Court can only issue writs for fundamental rights. The high courts, they can issue them for fundamental rights and any other legal right. It's a subtle but really clever way the power is spread out through the system. So, okay, we've got these three super powerful pillars. What's to stop one of them from just taking over? Well, that's where the genius of the whole system really shines. It's a concept called checks and balances, and it's all about making sure power is never concentrated in one place. Let me walk you through how it works. Say Parliament passes a new law. Great. But then it goes to the president, who can say, I'm not so sure about this, and send it back for another look. That's a check. But let's say it gets past the president. Well, the Supreme Court can still take a look and say, wait a minute, this law goes against the Constitution, and bam, they can strike it down. That's another check. See? Each branch keeps the others in line. It's this constant, delicate dance of power. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. This amazing blueprint, it's been running the country for more than 70 years. But the world today, India today, is so different from when it was written. So the question is that incredible system of checks and balances, is it still working the way it was designed to? In the 21st century, is that balance holding up? That is something worth thinking about.